Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. And it's been about 3 months since my last update, and I think now that we're kind of in the intermediate stage and we're hitting the intermediate plateau, one thing I want to quickly talk about is how I'm making flashcards, the new method with AI. And I think in the intermediate phase, the hardest hurdle and the biggest improvement you can make is by learning more vocabulary, as all the conversational grammar you've already learned is just about mastering it. And then the grammar you learn at JLPT N2 and N1 level are stuff that you read in books, but it's not stuff you use every day. And it would actually be weird if you use it in a day-to-day basis. Hence, vocabulary is the new way of progressing once you hit the intermediate plateau. And the goal is 30 to 50 new words every day, which is kind of really difficult depending on the day, but realistically, just 3 to 4 hours. That's really all like the best you could do. So let's get started. First of all, it's about sourcing your words, right? And there's a lot of ways to do it. Um, just daily life, right? Write whatever you come across. Make a little. I guess I can show you. Yeah, I have like a Anki mining screenshots, and it's just like words that I come across like day to day. And there's about like 1,500 words in here, so it's a lot of flashcards, right? And I think that's the best way to do it, because they're words that you've come across that you've like had some sort of like frustration that you didn't know. That's why you wrote it down, took a screenshot, and it'll be easier to remember the next time, since there's going to be some sort of like memory or experience that goes with it. Other than that, let's say you're studying for the JLPT N3 or N2, N5, whatever. Having a textbook does help. I think in Nihongo no Mori, their textbook has a lot of vocabulary. This one has about like a few thousand, I think. So that's really good. And what I did was I borrowed my friend's textbook. I took pictures at every single page, so something like this. And one cool thing about GPT is to save you time of like writing everything down, just send it to the GPT. I'll make a list for it, and I think it's pretty good. It does a pretty good job. It does miss a few here and there, but it's not that big of a deal. As when it comes to learning vocabulary, it's really about quantity and not necessarily quality, in that there's no benefit of learning every single word in JLPT N2, as that is pretty impossible. Like, I've moved on from N3, but I still find N3 words that I don't know, just hearing about, that I just never come across, and that's normal. And that's how it'll be for N2 as well. And there's just too many vocabulary in N2. So after that, we take the list, paste it all in here. So I made quite a few lists already, and we've gone through quite a few cards. So after this is something that I've already shown, so I'm not going to show it here, but we use Migaku to automate Anki flashcards, and now we have this deck, which I haven't begun studying yet, but there's around 510 cards. So how did I go from like a few thousand words to 510 cards? And well, the method is by grouping them. I think at this point there's just so much vocabulary that if you learn everything one by one, it will take you forever. And I also find that it's a lot more helpful to start grouping things together in an intermediate level, as these are all words that like I can read, and I could probably guess the meaning, but you know what, it's good to learn them once. And I think learning suffixes, learning how like this word applies in 3 different words, this kanji applies in 3 different words, the dan suffix, te suffix, like te is a word, but it can also be used as a common suffix at the end of like a kanji, right? A kanji word, two kanji word. Yeah, so that's pretty much the same as the last time, except we're using ChatGPT to automate from textbook to Google document. And then the next thing here is, and the thing I want to talk about today mainly, is using an AI API. I'm currently using ChatGPT, and it's not too great. I think there's a few limitations I want to talk about, but it does get the job done. To be honest, it does. I'm currently using the Anki AI this plugin. I will post a link in the description, as well as leaving the code, so you guys can do it yourself. It has pretty good instructions, so just follow it. And let me give you a bit of a demonstration. Okay, so I find that I have three types of flashcards. One is just a regular word, right? Simple. One is a versus, seki versus iwa versus ganseki. And then third is like three different words back to back that they don't mean the same thing. But they're very like tangential. Rocky area, rocky cavern, rocky hole, type of thing. And something like this that are like hantai, they're directly against each other. This means like very thick. This means very not thick. Whatever the English word for that is. The more I learn Japanese, I find that my English gets worse and worse. But we move. So I think the first attempt was really messy. Gonna be honest, it was really messy. My system prompt and my user prompt were both really long. This is a lot of tokens that are being sent back and forth. And it's kind of unnecessary. A lot of like duplicate things. And all of this is just to handle one type. The word flashcard only. This can't handle multiple types of flashcards. So the version 2 re-optimized it. System prompt is a lot lower, and now we're formatting directly in the system prompt. And the big difference of the user prompt is this. This is the new user prompt, and we just put all the information in the system prompt. Third version is adding features the A versus B, the comparison. So here we have a input pattern detection area. So we have word mode, we have what's a comparison mode, and a group mode. And then basically we tell it if there's verses, then it's going to be comparison mode. If there's a hyphen, there's two types in Japanese, hyphens. And it contains three or more terms, then it will be group mode. Otherwise, it's word mode, to help direct the API to the correct area. And then, yeah, the word mode, it's a lot of the same stuff from version 2, with like minor changes. And then this is my current best in slot for comparison group. And I actually have another version of the word mode. Reason being, I find that with this system or this prompt, there is a lot of variance. When you do 10 cards, it's not that big of a deal. But when you run like hundreds of cards in here, I find that the variance gets worse and worse and worse. It starts missing some sections. It starts formatting wrong. So it ends up being not very helpful. And after some research, I realized that ChatGPT is not too great at just putting out HTML code and just doing what you tell it to do. In that ChatGPT is naturally very conversational. That's how it was built. It was not really made for this. I think there are ways to do it, like for example, using ChatGPT to JSON and then convert JSON to like HTML, to directly input into your Anki flashcards, and that's very doable because so if you look at the code, right, it's really just like division. So it could just be like one block of text. Yeah. So yeah, this is the best in slot for word. I find that ideally separating all of them could be the best thing to do. Just for like consistency's sake. There's just less stress when you're making like a batch of 30 to 50 cards if everything is much more consistent. But yeah, anyways. Let me just copy this and then let's give you a demonstration. So how this plugin works, green. I'll do these two. So you highlight the cards you want to do, you click Anki AI, update your flashcards, and then in the system prompt, you paste in the prompt that you want to use. And my user prompt is the same for all of them, so I'm not going to touch that. And just in the bottom, this part's a little tricky. They don't explain it too well, but basically for me, I'm putting everything in notes, so I have all space and the notes, but the notes has to be capitalized properly. Whoopsies. I think we should be good. We have notes has to be capital N. It has to just match this exactly. Same here. The word, it can't be all caps. It can't be, the W cannot be lowercase. Watch out for the brackets too. Do not use Japanese brackets for English code. Okay. And click OK. And it takes about 7 seconds for each card, which is honestly not bad. I'm using GP24 Mini just because it's the cheapest. But I am considering switching to maybe Claude, for example. I've also changed it from 5 sentences to 3, and 5 common words to 3 common words. But I've included an English translation as well, just because I find that that's something that I keep looking up. And all of this just speeds up the whole process when you're making hundreds of cards. And as you can see, these two came out perfectly. This is exactly what I want. Kanji, onyomi, kunyomi, 3 example words. This as well. Word and meaning, just 1 sentence, really simple. 3 example sentences, perfect. So now let's tackle the other two. And the amount of comparisons is not that much, so the variance isn't really affecting me as much, as there's probably like 450 just single word flashcards, and then the comparisons, A versus B, the groups, there's probably like 50 of them total, so I think variance is fine here. Although this prompt has performed really well for me. I haven't had any issues with it, like variance at all. But yeah. So just copy this, come here, highlight the 3, oops, and then paste it in system prompts, and just run it. And I think the hardest part about this whole process is just figuring out like what format that I want. I think it's easy for words, since the just single word flashcards, you make thousands and thousands. I'm at over 10K. So I know exactly what I want. But for these, it took a little bit experimenting, but this is what I ended up with. A simple summary of how these 3 are linked. One thing comparing and explaining each term in just 1 simple sentence. And then a quick comparison summary. What the difference is. Like this one, Seki is small pebble. Iwa is like a large geographical rock. So this maybe would refer to like mountains, for example, right? Or this would maybe talk about mountains. Anyways, yeah, that's the thing for letting me to figure out. But yeah, so same thing here. The format works perfectly. I think the quick comparison summary has been super helpful. So highly recommend that if you want to take my my prompt and use it, my setup. Okay. Yeah, no, all this perfect. So yeah, that's just a quick demonstration of how I'm making flashcards in the great 2026, and where I'm kind of using AI to help just simplify and help me save time. As I think my goal would be around 30K. Might be a little bit crazy, but 30K end of the year, and just doubling my vocabulary. So yeah, it'll come out to be like 30 to 50 a day, closer to 50, I think. So probably not possible, but I think 20K, 25 is not bad. So we take those, and yeah, I'll be experimenting with other AIs in the future. But for now, since I'm pretty much done making this set of flashcards, it's just time for me to study them. And when I start making the next batch, I'll experiment a bit more and give you guys another update. All right, thank you. Bye bye.